Today I'm talking about that leak that came out nearly 4 months ago on Reddit, what it means for Enlisted and how much of it is true. So the first major thing I wanted to talk about is obviously the reason that this is even like a thing I'm talking about, right? Is there was, I believe, an ex-Gaijin or Darkflow employee, I believe their NDA agreement expired, and that basically led them to releasing this information, or on one hand creating these rumors. I'm kind of also here today to kind of talk about how true this kind of thing is. And it's not like super publicly known, I guess. It's not like the most known thing ever. Since I haven't like seen anybody else really talk about it either. But like, so in either March or May, I don't know which way the dates are around, it's either the third month or the fifth month, Darkflow LLP was liquidated. Now what does liquidated mean? Like, specifically, liquidated means the eventual closure of a company. It means that slowly employees will be leaving, they will have their job taken away, basically. I mean, but given time to, find new work and stuff, it's like laid off, right? So, if Darkflow was liquidated, that means that the company doesn't exist, or it will not exist soon. Now that happened in 2023, which is, well, it's now 2025, so it's been at least 2 years since the liquidation, supposedly, of Darkflow software. Now that doesn't immediately just mean that, like, Enlisted is going to disappear. Darkflow were just the developers of the game, actively, right? The publisher of the game is Gaijin, and I'm sure that Gaijin either could just add those software engineers to Gaijin as employees rather than as Darkflow. I'm sure that Gaijin has their own game designers, right? I mean, they have War Thunder, it's very popular. I'm sure they have a lot of devs for War Thunder, a lot of manpower there. So it doesn't necessarily mean that Enlisted is go boom, right? But it is interesting. And some further potential evidence of this Darkflow no longer existing is that Darkflow was based in Riga, which is the capital city of Latvia, and it supposedly doesn't exist anymore, especially since there is another statement somewhere else that claims Gaijin helps new employees with relocation to new countries to live in and help develop games, right? And Latvia is no longer included in that list. That list includes places like Hungary, Cyprus, Montenegro, places like that. And another piece of evidence we can, as true as this evidence is, it's only like rumors and like, potentially spread by a disgruntled ex-employee. So how true can they be? But Alexander Polyakov was a software engineer for Darkflow, and he is no longer at Darkflow since 2023, and is now a software engineer for Roblox, which is a very successful game dev company. Roblox is very popular. Honestly, Roblox is up there with stuff like Call of Duty, Fortnite, Minecraft. Oh my god. They're getting rowdy in this building. I need some pistol kills for my Battle Pass task. So anyway, there's potential evidence that Darkflow doesn't exist, which is why you may have noticed me saying Gaijin in my videos instead of Darkflow, as I'm not sure, I guess. I mean, Darkflow could still exist as publishers for the game. I don't really know exactly how it works, but either way, I've been saying Gaijin, because the game is owned by Gaijin, the War Thunder devs. It's the same thing, basically, right? So I've been saying Gaijin instead of Darkflow, which may be incorrect. And I haven't spoken with like Major McDonald's about this really. Although I did know at one point on his stream he did mention that he might make a video about this like rumor or like leak, I guess. Mostly probably to just disprove it, since it's obviously not entirely true. But what else has been going on with Enlisted? And if you are keen-eyed, you may have noticed that on the Steam charts, Enlisted has slowly been losing a bit of its player base. Enlisted would, I don't know the average off the top of my head, but I know that Enlisted would peak daily on Steam at about 7,000 players per day. Or 7,000 players at a peak time in one day. And that has slowly dropped to about 5,000, 4,500. Now that does seem like kind of bad news, but honestly, I'm not sure if it's all that important. Do keep in mind that the Steam charts for Enlisted is only counting for players that are using Steam as a launcher for their game. I would like to remind people that the main ways that people are playing Enlisted is actually through Enlisted's own launcher, so that's not connected to Steam, that doesn't show up on Steam at all. People are also using consoles, so there's Xbox and PlayStation. So that's 3 other launchers that people are using, which are not the Steam launcher to play Enlisted. So that player count number, you could easily just say, oh, that's only a quarter of the player base. And we don't have the information publicly known to us about how the player count looks on Enlisted launcher or how it looks on PlayStation or Xbox. But I would assume that those are higher numbers. Well, maybe. Depends. Steam is a pretty big platform. But I assume that a lot of people that knew about Enlisted are already playing it through the launcher. It depends. Maybe in the future Steam will become the biggest part of the player base. Since that kind of makes sense, right? Steam is probably the biggest game launcher to be on. Although the devs aren't exactly, it doesn't seem like they actually really want to be on Steam. I mean, the first failed Steam release was atrocious. They tried to charge people for a free-to-play game. They're very profit-focused when it comes to Steam. And you'll notice if you, because of that pack, the first time they tried to launch, or if you tried to purchase gold while playing on Steam, you actually don't get a gold discount. They take away the discount because they have to pay a percentage of the sale to Steam itself in Valve. So they actually charge you, I guess, more for the same amount of gold. So it's not exactly like they're... If it was me, personally, I would take the hit to give my customer the discount because, it's about the customer. But, you know. Another thing I wanted to talk about is how do people feel about the amount of content Enlisted is receiving? If we look at the previous updates, what have we received in the major updates? So the Forest Shadows update, we did receive 1 new map. We received 2 new premium squads. We received some vehicles. We got 1 thing for each faction. But is that really enough? Is drip feeding 1 thing per faction really going to keep people engaged? If this was another game, if I look at War Thunder, wouldn't they add an entire branch of tanks in one go? If they're gonna add Israeli tanks, they'll add all the Israeli tanks in one go, and then a premium squad on top of that. I mean, it's not like they're gonna add a whole new faction to Enlisted. I know people want French or British or Italian standalone factions. That's just not gonna happen. That doesn't make any sense in the game. As a sub-faction within Axis or within Western allies, those things can exist, and I think they should. They're not going to get added as a standalone faction, though. That's just never going to happen, in my opinion. I would love to shoot this guy, but there is words on top of my gun. So, I mean, Enlisted is maybe not receiving that much content. I mean, what did we get in the update before that? We got the jets, right? And then we also had, a rework of River Crossing. And I mean, this is nice content. But at the end of the day, it's, a new thing, 1 new toy for each faction. And either a new map or a map rework. That's not really a lot of content. Now I know people are saying oh, they're running out of content they could even add to Enlisted. I don't believe that at all. I don't think that makes really much sense, if any. There's loads of things they could add. They could add Manchuria versus for Japan versus Soviets, which is what they recently tested. They could add so many things. They could add so many vehicles, they could add so many Italian guns, they could add so many British guns. There's so many things that they could add that are not main used in the war. And that's kind of a strength of Enlisted, is all the prototypes that you can get access to. Damn, this is an unlucky spawn. I'm just getting kind of owned here. My whole sniper squad has been absolutely farmed. Ugh. Okay. Missed my shot, died. That doesn't make sense. That makes sense. So, if Enlisted is receiving less content, why is that? Is it because of the slowly lowering player count? I'm not going to say dwindling player count because there's still a lot of players. At least, like, even just on Steam, 5,000, like, it's more average players daily, but like 5,000 peak players, there's still a decent chunk of players, and then we have to account for all the other... Dude, the enemy turned into Terminators or what? I just started dying immediately every time I spawn. What happened? So I don't think that Enlisted is getting less developer like attention because of the player count. That doesn't make sense. The one thing that could be causing it is active matter. Now I'm not at all really interested in active matter as a game. I'm not like too fussed about looter shooters or like extraction shooters is what they are. Like Escape from Tarkov. If I wanted to play a game in that like genre, I would just play Tarkov. I don't think I'm gonna play Gaijin or Darkflow's version of that. Just like honest take, game developers really need to stop chasing trends. Nobody's gonna play your battle royale. Nobody's gonna play your this or that. They're gonna go to Fortnite if they want battle royale. They're gonna go play Minecraft or Roblox if they want to create things, right? You're just shooting yourself in the foot chasing these trends, especially this many years late. Like look at Splitgate. Splitgate 2 added a battle royale mode. Nobody cares about your battle royale mode. Nobody's gonna play that. Really, like you have to kind of like wake up and take a look at yourself and go, what the hell am I doing developing a battle royale mode for an arena shooter based on portals? What am I doing making an extraction shooter based off of like Enlisted? It's not based off Enlisted, but I think that it actually has like similar systems. I've never played it. I've only heard things like secondhand about it. But anyway, is active matter like taking away dev time from Enlisted? Maybe. I do think that Enlisted, I think, makes a lot of money for Gaijin. Like really, look at the price of the premium squads, and there's a lot of people that buy those premiums. So it's not like they're not making money. And I also feel like they could release premiums a lot like more often too. I feel like if they put more time into the game, they could definitely earn more money from it. Oh, I got owned. But I mean, that's just me. Maybe they found that they only have to release a premium squad like every month or 2 months to really like make as much money as they need. I love insta-kill melee bots. Let's talk about stuff like that. The game is in the best spot it has ever been. I think that is an objective fact. The game, the battle ratings and the campaigns, like it's in the best spot it's been. The game balance is in the best spot it's been. They've reworked like bad maps and we have more good maps. Now we still got bad maps, but we've got more good maps. Like the game is 100% in the best spot it's ever been. We have like new types of events. Now I'm gonna have a separate video talking about the Japan USSR event. I know a lot of people hated it though, but personally for me, I quite liked it. I feel like it was a very like fresh, unique thing. I know we've had events like that in the past, but that was before my time playing Enlisted. So like, you know, but I would love to see more events like that with like slight improvements, obviously. Even though I really wouldn't change much about it, I think it was like interesting as it was. It was kind of its own like unique thing, its own unique part of Enlisted that you can't really get anywhere else. Well, we'll never get that mode again, right? And also something I subscribe to myself, like as I've gotten older, is just enjoying things as they are instead of like trying to change them. If I love something, if I enjoy something, it's because of how it is, right? Why would I want to change it to be something different? Like Enlisted has problems, sure. Enlisted could be better at certain things. That was my teammate. I was just shooting so I get the 5-bullet reload quickly. But like, you know, I just like it for what it is. And honestly, worrying less about changing things and like just enjoying them as they are has really like unironically made me enjoy things just more in general. I'm less worried about nitpicking things and like trying to think of ways for things to be better and new ideas. If you were to put me in charge of like Gaijin like right now, in charge of Enlisted, honestly, I don't think there's much I would change, if anything. I think the game's in a good spot, personally. I enjoy the game a lot. Which leads me to my last point. I know the game has ended. I've kind of run out of time talking here. The game went pretty quick. But is Enlisted looking hopeful for the future? And I think so. I think Enlisted is still in a good spot. I think we've got good content. I don't think, like, yeah, I think the game could get more content, but also think of this from like a new player's perspective. If you just started playing Enlisted like today, there is so much stuff to unlock. There are so many event things you're missing out on that you can get later on from like veterans boxes or new events. There's so much stuff. There's so many maps. Like, we have to remember, if we've played a lot of games of Enlisted, I've played 3056, we do have to remember that just because we think that the maps are old now, doesn't mean they actually are. I mean, like, Vold is a decent map, I think. I like Vold. Although, I would appreciate if the newer maps had more unique assets. Vold feels weird to me. It feels new, but it also feels familiar because so many of the buildings and assets on that map are reused, which makes total sense in game dev to reuse assets. I'm not against that. I would have just preferred more unique assets, I guess. I mean, there is a few in that map, but they're kind of like remixes of previous assets we have. Anyway, I do think Enlisted is hopeful. I don't think that we need to doom and gloom about Enlisted. If anything, the game will just be run from Gaijin if it's true that Darkflow has been completely liquidated and doesn't exist anymore. War Thunder is still getting development. Enlisted is still getting development, definitely. This is just improvements they make all the time. We just had Outlisted number 7, I think. Can I see the news? Changelog, Outlisted number 7. They just banned a whole bunch of cheaters. We've had a photo contest. We just got a new battle pass with these 3 new exciting guns. I'm actually quite excited for these. I'm looking forward to the Japanese mortar. I think this semi-auto is interesting. And I'm mostly looking forward to the Scotty naval rifle. This thing is just going to be like... I mean, it's basically just a Fedorov, but it's cool. Like, I think... Like, we get bug fixes, we get changes. Every change that they make is generally pretty good. And I think that we just have to keep asking for good updates. And I think we'll keep getting them, honestly. Yeah, I guess I'm just hopeful for Enlisted. I'm going to do a follow-up video to this on a much more, like, happy note, I guess. Reviewing the video I did at the start of the year for my hopes for Enlisted. And see how the game has developed. And we'll actually go through, like, what has changed, what has been added. Let me know how you guys feel. Are you guys worried about the future of Enlisted? Are you hopeful like I am? I don't really see any reason to panic, but maybe you do. Maybe you have more information than I do and you want to share it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. It helps me out and I appreciate it a lot. If you want to support me even more directly, consider becoming a member. You'll get a bunch of bonus perks, such as seeing this video one day early, and all of my videos one day early, or as close to one day as I can make it. YouTube is a bit annoying. You can't, like, schedule a video to go from unlisted to members to public. You can only schedule it from members to public, which immediately makes it available to members, which means I can't do that ahead of time. I have to set that exactly where... It's just annoying. Anyway, you can see on screen a list of my current supporters. I'll shout out to them always. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye!